Hello and welcome to a series of interviews on the lead up to Tilt and Tap. My name is Mr. Cookie and I'm joined by a really upstanding and fantastic community member who's been leading the charge with FGC weeklies in the West Midlands. It's Mr. Pig Lee. How you doing, mate?
Hey, how you doing, dude? Thank you for the very, very generous intro, man. Thank you.
Dude,
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
it's
Nice.
deserved. It's deserved. I mean, I think that the work that you've
Nice.
done over the last, I'd say, year. It's been about a year or so, hasn't it, since Foundry's like basically started off, hasn't it?
Foundry started in Foundry started in January. Well, we start. Me and Mr. Crowley started
Mm,
January the 1st. Yeah, but
yeah.
obviously I was here with all for Ben before that and doing little bits and bobs. But yeah, no, like I said, it's really, really sweet intro, man. But honestly, like I said, it's not just me, is it? I mean, it is Mr. Crowley that's putting a ton of work. Yourself, man. I mean, how long have you been doing this now, mate?
We've been doing Wolves now. Coming 2 weeks now will be 3 years. So I am
You see, that's
accept.
what I mean, man. So,
I'm very
you know,
long in the tooth.
you paid your dues as well, man. So
Mm,
yeah, it's not just me, man. It's nice to see that the Midlands in general is becoming a hub for a hub for fighting games, man. That's nice to see. I mean, it was crazy that between the Wolfpack, like your lot, Pudge up in Leicester,
hmm
and us lot in Wolves. I think we had like every single game versus fighting. We had fighters in it between us all, and there was the support between us all as well. Like
mm.
Pudge and your lot were cheering our boys on, and vice versa, man. It was versus fighting was absolutely fantastic this year, but just seeing the Midlands representation was just yeah, kind of heartwarming, man. It was kind of heartwarming.
Yeah, and it's great,
Yeah,
especially
it got me.
seeing as not. I mean, since we started running Street Fighter and Tekken Nights about a year or so, none of those three. I think Hyper Combo was on the hiatus for a while. Foundry hadn't
Yeah,
like properly started yet. Wolves hadn't dipped
no.
its toes into the FGC yet. So seeing all of that come from something that is essentially a year old was like quite
This
heartwarming,
is
I
what I mean,
imagine.
man. This is what I mean, man. It's all of us. I think it's safe to say that we've all sort of put the work in, and like I
Hmm.
said, that goes for obviously the people that aren't here on the chat today,
Hmm.
like Crowley, like Pudge,
Hmm.
even like the TOs that have worked their asses off, like Geo and everyone like that.
Hmm. Yeah,
You
I mean,
know, I'll be here for another 5 minutes, naming and thanking everyone. So just thank you, basically.
we're grateful for all the help that we get, and
Yeah, of course.
I wanted to just obviously ask a question. I mean, me and you can yap on for ages as we had a good 15-minute pre-show talk just talking about like favorite books in June that we've been reading.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
you've talked, me and you have talked off camera at various events about like the games that we got into when we were younger as well. What was kind of the impetus of you getting into fighting games at a young lad, or more importantly, becoming getting into them to be part of the FGC and taking that extra step other than, as every other person who's been on this interview series before, mucked around with bears and Tekken 5 and then just decided to go to an offline one of the days?
So, I mean, God, I'm old as God's dog, mate. I really am. So, you know what I mean? It's getting on. Someone pointed out the other day I'm older than Google, and I was like, yeah, thanks for that, appreciate it. But
Oh,
yeah, but I mean, God, my first sort of fighting game experience was on like the Atari ST, and it was like IR Kung Fu and human killing machine that was like absolutely rough, but it was like it was great, man. And then like you had the spitting image fighting game and stuff. It was like, what's going on
there was a spitting image fighting game. No
on the
fucking
Atari
way.
ST, man? Yeah, yeah, it was on the Atari ST. It was like Maggie Thatcher and all the rest of them, and it was yeah. It was, yeah. Nowadays, it would be completely cancelled, but it was just beautiful. But um, but yeah, like I said, like IR Kung Fu and all them, and then obviously you went on to like it went on to like the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, of course, Street Fighter, man. When that thing launched,
Mm.
that thing changed the game, man. Yeah, Street Fighter Two was just
I mean I look at I talked a little bit earlier on like off camera about like big cultural events when it comes to media. As in
yeah, yeah, yeah,
where were you when this released or whatever? And
yeah.
I can only imagine that the earthquake which is still being felt now from when Street Fighter 2 came out. Even the the original World Warriors release, which by every metric doesn't hold up well as a game. I know that obviously there's been.
Oh, I got beat up hard on it on a versus fighting, man.
I was gonna. Well, you're playing Super Turbo there, aren't you? Like that's fair. Like that's fair enough. I'm talking the original. Have you played the original
Yeah,
World Warrior release since then? My God, it's rough.
Oh, it is, but it's like you said, it changed the game, didn't it, man?
What was the sort of? I mean, obviously, when you're a young lad, you
Yeah.
you have a preference for your games as well, and then you get more into some than others too. What was like the first fighter where you was it Street Fighter 2, the first game where you latched onto it and thought, this is my jam. This is the stuff that's going to make me more invested.
No, I think it's honestly because I was your typical edgy teenage rocker,
Mm.
typical edgy Grebo. I've got to say it was when Mortal Kombat dropped, and then Mortal Kombat 2. Oh, Mortal Kombat 2 was just, it was so good and it was so gory. And as an edgy teen, it was like, this is amazing. But yeah, look, I've always liked fighting games. Though, like I said, Street Fighter 2, I played to death. Mortal Kombat. I've always been like an SNK boy as well. So
Yeah.
I mean, Samurai Showdown, man, that game again, fantastic. Like, just all these sort of old school games that I've sort, and then obviously the Neo. The problem was growing up, the Neo Geo had all the best fighters,
Mm.
and it was just incredibly pricey to own that machine. So you didn't. So you just had to go to pardon me, you just had to go to like an old arcade at Clent Hills. There
Mm.
used to be an old little arcade, so I used to have to pester my dad to drive us up to Clent Hills to like basically let me run right in an arcade for a couple of hours, and it would be like stuff like, or like if we went bowling or somewhere like that,
Mm.
you always had the little arcade
Yeah.
area, and I always remember
Yeah.
that I had the local bowling place had Primal Rage. Now
Okay.
that is possibly my favourite old school arcade fighter, like actual proper arcade cabinet one. I'd say Primal Rage, just because the memories of just you got to play as a dinosaur and just
Mm.
eat other dinosaurs. It's like it was Mortal Kombat with dinosaurs. It's like what more do you want?
See, like, because I was born in '94 as well, so like I was past the by the time I was a young kid, I was past the prime of arcades. Like that, it slipped me by a good few years. But I always remember, like, when you'd be on a holiday with your family or something, and you'd go to like you go to an arcade, you go to a bowling place, and you'd think, do they have this arcade machine? Do they have this one? My one,
Yeah.
and I don't know why, was always the Sim. Do you remember the Simpsons arcade game? Do you remember that one?
Oh, the beat 'em up.
Yeah.
What a game! What a game, man! But again, the beat 'em up genre back in the day, like Sunset Riders and all that sort of stuff as well. And like you said, The Simpsons, Golden Axe, all them. But
Mm,
yeah, I always remember we used to always go to the Isle of Wight, like as a holiday.
yeah.
And there was this one chip shop, and the chip shop had an old cabinet of Mortal Kombat 2 in it. And it was
Really?
like inside the chip shop, yeah, by the door, and you was like, I never got a chance to play it because it was all the big boys were playing it,
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, but it's like yeah, I put my pound there, but by the time my turn comes, like my parents have got the chips and we marched out the door, so it was like it is what it is, man. But no, like just the something about fighting games, isn't there, man? It's just even if I mean, I'll be honest, I am shocking at a good 90% of them. I am
Mm.
bad. I've just not got the patience to block. I don't like the idea of blocking, man. I'm waking up mashing, and that's it. And, I am shocking at most fighting games, but there's something about them, man. I just love playing them.
I think like the thing that interests me as a outside of playing, I've said this before, but like playing them casually around my friend's house. I didn't grow up with a uh, friend group who was that gaming diverse, if you know what I mean. It was World of
Yeah,
Warcraft, it was Call of Duty, big names like that. And I think a few of our friends had like Tekken 6 and Street Fighter 4, some variation of that, and it was just, oh, I've got a fighting game, do you want to play that? So I never really divulged much into that outside of giving the Street Fighter 5 like vanilla release a bit of a shot, but we all know how that turned out on release. Turned out fine in the end, but on release, it was what it
Ooh.
was. Um,
And yet five now is Street Fighter Five now is yeah, I'd say it's my favourite version of Street Fighter out there. But on launch, yeah, and I can't defend it on launch. That thing was rough.
Exactly. Um, and I've said this before as well. Like because I've been getting into for side brackets at locals, the PS5 that I've got, I've been putting as many games onto it as I can do without without missing any mortgage payments. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I've been getting into Tekken's my main game, Street Fighter. I've given Strive a good go as well, and I think there's. I love experimenting with games, and I love just the ability of
Mm,
jumping in, giving them a go, and see how it is. Um,
yeah.
I'm just so fucking bad at them. Like I'm okay at Tekken, everything else I'm just absolute dog water at as well. But like I don't know how some people have like can be so good at multiple games at a time. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's
Like
frightening. It's frightening. Yeah, I think it's fundamental footsies which I don't have. I play a grapplers or
mhm,
rushdown, and therefore I'm just coming in, and it's that simple. But I think fundamental footsies will carry you through like 90% of fighting games. I'd
mm.
probably go further than say like 99% of them, but it's learning the fundamental footsies, man.
Yeah, and like once you've got a basic understanding of like okay, like is it if you're not a person who's like consistently looking at frame data and all that, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like really burrowing into
yeah,
the numbers, you could say, "Oh yes, I have 2 frames advantage of you when you do whatever." Odd, just knowing when it's your turn, knowing when it's your turn to press buttons on the most
yeah. You're
absolute
always positive,
basic
mate.
level.
You're always plus. You're always plus. You're never negative unless you think you're negative.
Spoke
That's when it gets you.
spoken like a true Potemkin, mate.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, I'm having a bit of a love hate with Guilty Gear at the moment, man.
Mm,
Yeah, just yeah. I mean, at the moment, I'm messing around with Blaze Blue.
mm,
Um, I'm really enjoying Blaze Blue at the moment. A few others as well. But going back to what you said about loading your PlayStation up,
mm-hmm.
I bought Omen of Sorrow the other day. It was on sale for like 2-3 quid.
Yeah.
So I was like, go on, I'll pick it up. I picked it up, put it into my fighting game file on my PlayStation, and found out it was the 56th fighting game I'd added to that file. And I was like, oh crap, I think I've got a problem.
It's not even just that, like when you find stuff like that, like under the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection stuff for dirt cheap, or the Street
Yeah,
Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection for dirt
that's
cheap,
what I mean.
or you get Ultra Street Fighter 4 for like a few pound. It's
Yeah,
almost like just it's a meal deal. I'll do it later on. It's not something like I don't know. You have to get another. You've got a new PS5. You get a copy of Tekken 8, and then you got to get the DLC on top. DLC on top of that
yeah,
too, and then it's like that. Support your fucking locals. You know what I mean? Like we do
yeah.
we do all this out of our own pocket for the fucking love of God. Um,
Honestly, and then, but then you stumble upon these fun little games that you're like, you know what, that could actually be a fun little side tournament. So you put up an idea saying, oh, you know what, this week we're going to have this as a side tournament. And all of a
mm,
sudden, all these killers come climbing out the woodwork, going, oh, "You're running my game." It's like, "Oh shit,
mm,
where have you not been?" It's like, okay, cool. We've all of a sudden got new people crawling out the woodwork, going, "Oh my god, you're running a, I don't know, let's just say Killer Instinct. We ran Killer Instinct the other day,
mm.
and loads of people were like, oh, this was my game. This was my game," and I'm like, okay, I just thought it'd be fun just to have a game of Killer Instinct because people haven't played it in a while.
It's so funny when like you. I don't know how. I don't know if it's like a psychic sense that goes off, or it's just like you'll load up. I'm just gonna put Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on for a week and just see how it goes. You'll meet a guy
Yeah,
who's just put thousands and thousands of hours into it, and it's just like, oh God, what have we do? What have we done here? Um,
yeah, exactly. And they're like, "Oh God, you're running my game. This is awesome." And it's like, I actually thought I might have a chance of winning this tournament, but now you've turned up and you're some Evo killer. It's like, no, okay.
what were your some of like do you have like any early experiences of like going to like offlines or locals, before like Foundry, before the early beginnings of that? Have you got like any early memories of like either majors or locals before then?
Honestly, no, because most of my lot, the same as yourself, most of
Mm.
my lot were all Mega Drive or Super Nintendo boys, and then went
Mm.
to uh, PlayStation and Xbox. But they were either like Gears of War, FIFA, some sort of racing game, possibly a wrestling game. There wasn't many actual fighting game players, and um, one of our locals, Jamal, Jim Almighty,
Yep.
he made a joke about this, that, and I totally agree with him. It's you when you're sort of stuck in this little bubble. and you have to sort of beg people to play your fighting game, you kind of almost get ideas of grandeur. You think you are so much better than you are, and then when you finally do turn up to a locals and just get kicked from left to right and back again, you're like, oh, what just happened? It's an interesting one, man. It certainly puts you in your place. Like I thought I was good at fighting games
Mm.
until I started TOing, and now I'm like, oh no, I am not.
You realize the bell curve model is accurate, is that most people think they're pretty good at things. Like I'm not sure what the actual statistic is, and I know that online is not the best metric to judge players by. It's
Yeah,
it can be a handy goalpost for someone who just walks in, and I'm sure that I think once you reach master rank in Street Fighter 6, you are in the top. Is it 5%? I think it's
I would
something.
no, mate. No, mate. I've not done a single ranked match in Street Fighter.
Correct. It's
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You might be around that margin. I know that in like Smash, to draw a parallel, is that to get to Elite Smash, you do have to be within the top 3 or 4% of like online players, I think. And like, and when you'll go to like you'll go to a local, and your round one is like, oh yeah, I'm a master rank, and they'll absolutely fucking body you, and it's like, oh okay, or you'll meet a guy who's like, oh yeah, I'm a Tekken Supreme whatever odd. I've been
Or
playing for like
God of War or whatever it was.
yeah, I've been playing for like 20 years, and like I've been playing this exact fucking character for 20 years, or just
Yeah.
you get you can get a bit of a delusion of grandeur from
Unbelievable.
that. It's true, and like I can completely understand why some people would have a bit of like oh god, maybe I don't want to come back to this because I want to be the big fish in the little pond. But then you meet people who are like really invested in the game, and it's the best part about the community where you
Yeah,
meet like-minded people. You've instantly got something in common. You've instantly got a talking point, and you're in an environment which encourages that sort of stuff.
totally. And like, there's always I like the sort of the banter with it as well. Like in Tekken, I'm one of those 6 sadists that play Marduk. And you can always
Mm,
tell a Marduk player because they're the only ones that are saying, I wish Marduk was in 8. No
yeah.
one else wants him in 8. But the Marduk players do. And then we sort of huddle up and talk about how you could make his heat mode so it's unbreakable grabs or something. And like,
Mm.
to us, that sounds amazing. To everyone else, it's like, you've just ruined my game.
It's just
So it's,
game over. Fucking game
yeah.
over at that point. Um,
But no, like I said, well, like you hit on, it's true, man. It's just nice being in that your own little bubble, isn't it? And just have like just it's the community to just feed on. And like if you want to get better, you can. If you just want
mm,
to talk shit, and just all learn. If you just want to just hang around and just have a laugh and play casuals, you can do that as well.
mm,
It's like we had our casuals night last Monday,
yeah.
and there's an hour before we're closing. It's 9 o'clock, and we seem to develop a small group of players that were taking it in turn to do 1v1 on uh, Virtua Fighter 5. There was just 6 of us just passing the pad, and I was like, well, you know what? There's an hour left. There's 6 of us here, and I ended up running the most cursed tournament you've ever seen because it was one game double elimination. It was yeah, one game, that was it, man, and you was win or lose, you drop sort of thing.
Fuck's sake.
And
That's
we
funny.
managed to nail it out in the hour. We did it in the hour. It took about 45 minutes, but it was cursed as hell because you've got 6 people that none of us really knew the game. We was all just sort of going, this dude looks cool. And you've got essentially 3 rounds to learn your character and beat your opponent. And some of the results were wacky as hell, man. It was an incredibly cursed tournament, but
Mm.
it was fun.
We know that like through the last year or so, and I might get a venue name wrong here as well, but Foundry's seen a
Yeah.
fair few changes. You went from I
Well,
can't you went from I was it the farmer's boy that was the first one? No, if we're talking formal, like we're not like outside of the light cinema night. By the way, shout out to Ben at Royal Jester Games because
again, yeah.
like
Again,
anybody who knows their Foundry and Wolves lore,
Grandad.
neither one of these locals would have started if it wasn't for Ben. Like just flat
Yeah.
out, like one of the most
Yeah,
influential people in the fighting game community that not a lot of people,
100%.
not enough people know this kind of history, but like background wise, he's been so supportive of all of our stuff. Um,
Oh God, yeah. And like you said, it was Ben that gave me my original shot because he set up a Street Fighter 4 tournament,
mm,
started running it, and then literally had to work and just chucked the clip. Went like, "Does anyone know? Can anyone run my tournament?"
that
And I
sounds
was like,
like Ben.
"Yeah, go on, then I'll give it a crack." Yeah, exactly. The man juggles that many plates that soon enough he asks someone to start spinning them for him,
Yeah.
and yeah, I was like, yeah, go and give it a go, and it went smoothly. And he sort of says like, do you want to do this once a month? And that's where that initially came from. But
Mm,
you was right. The Farmer's Boy was the Foundry's first venue. Yeah,
mm,
we stopped at the Foundry, Farmer's Boy first.
mm.
But you know yourself. I mean, you guys struck gold. Like rather quick in Wolverhampton because your venues in a nice spot. Wolverhampton's a nice area to an extent, obviously, but you know,
Citation. Citation.
well, yeah, you know, I'm Warsaw, so you know, but yeah, you've got a nice venue. You're quite close to park. You've got like parking nice and close. You've got drinks and food on, well, literally on tap.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's been a nice venue for you. We hit the Farmer's Boy, and it was nice to have a pub, but it wasn't like you've got the whole upstairs to yourself. Again, very contained,
Mm.
sort of out the road. We was literally like packed into the far end of like the arse end of a pub.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and the pub was in the arse end of nowhere.
Mm.
So it's like when we finish at 10 o'clock, there's no food around to grab. There's nobody really knows the area because you're stuck in more or less a residential area,
Yeah.
and there was just no transport. So all our lads coming all this way to support us had to then order taxis. And like, this isn't fair. This is not fair. We need to get something closer to a hub area like yourselves in Wolvo. So yeah, we landed in Warsaw, and we went to Jason at the Victoria for a little while.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, I'm
And
sorry, after you, buddy.
because I vaguely I've almost got certain memories because was the Victoria the one that was upstairs? Was the
That's the one.
yeah, was that
Yeah, that's the one.
low key one of my favorite like period ever favorite Foundry memories was I think it might have been the first night at the Victoria when the skybox fell off the TV and it caused the TV to cut off for a few seconds and I think it
Yeah.
was Cloud and Gio who
In
were
the
playing.
grand finals. I
Yeah,
think it was grand finals
was it
actually.
Grands? Was it Grands? Fucking hell.
It was grands or winners. I think it was, and I think it was Cloud and Richie, and
Oh
the
yeah.
skybox fell off the wall, and like, oh god, it's like these teething problems are never going to end.
Well, I mean, you've obviously found the retro realm, which is it's a real stunning venue because like I'm often a big believer in that there's no such thing as a perfect venue. There's always going to be some kind of uh, contingents that you have to just put up with. Like, yeah, it's a great
Yeah,
venue. Maybe it's like a little bit further out of the way. Maybe the drink prices are a bit too expensive. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I'll be damned if the retro doesn't come any closer. And since then you've had like a really big upsurge in attendees, the variety of games you're able to do, running Tekken World Tour events, consistently every fortnight. How has that sort of shift in venue and shift in like presence and attendance, changed how you see these events and how you run them?
well, like you said, Craig at the Retro Realm, Craig, he's just been, again, much the same as we shout out Ben. The Warsaw community especially has grown through obviously myself and Crowley,
Hmm.
but Craig just as much, man. Like Craig has done such a fantastic job as well, and just I mean, as for a venue, it's fantastic. I mean, we get to say we host we our Foundry nights, our fighting game tournaments are held in an actual arcade.
Hmm.
That's crazy. His food is gorgeous. The prices are great. He sells alcohol, which is always a bit of a help and can sometimes like dull a bad loss.
Yeah,
But
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. The post L Guinness, I'm very familiar with that.
see, I don't even drink, but for me it's a post L slushy. But you know, it's but but no, honestly, Craig's just been so supportive because again, like with some of our places, they've kind of seen it as a what do we get, what do we get, what do we get sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, Craig, obviously, it's a working partnership that works out well. The more people we can pull in, the more his bar will see action.
Mm.
But he's there for the community, man. You can see he's in it for the community. I mean, God, the other day we had on just a normal Foundry night. It wasn't even a special event or anything. It wasn't like the Foundry Underground.
Mm-hmm.
It was a generic Foundry. I think it was Foundry 18. And we had Richie, surprise, going grand finals, and it was against, I think it was Moku,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think it was 5 to midnight. They reset the bracket, and it's like that place should have closed at 10. But Craig's actually down there with his young lad Chase,
Mm-hmm.
who's also trying to learn Tekken.
Yeah.
They're actually sat there on our seats watching and supporting the fighters at like nearly midnight. And it's like, look, we love you, but we need to go home, sort of thing. But Craig wasn't like that at all. He was there cheering on like Richie and cheering on Moku and just enjoying watching good ass Tekken, even though it's like you are nearly 2 hours past your closing time.
I
And
think that
yeah,
there's a fundamental difference, and this kind of goes to, I mean, it's nice chatting to, like, I love doing this series of interviews to chat to players and TOs as well, but it's interesting
yeah,
being able to have the venue discussion because
yeah,
through sheer luck, us at Wolves, a lot of the bar staff are gamers, so they just get it.
yeah,
Like they
yeah,
understand it. You know, I've said to them multiple times, if you ever want to enter any of these brackets,
yeah, yeah,
just let me know. You could just go in for
yeah,
free, like, because you do such a good solid and all that. And each one has actually spoken up to like managers who've come and gone over the years and said, these guys are really sound. You know, we all do our part for the venue. We always buy a drink or two or buy food. I always make it a point that whatever venue I go to, buy at least a drink, maybe a bit of food if you want a little something, put money behind the till and all that sort of stuff. But it must mean a lot to have a venue contact who is passionate and understands it, not just seeing you as, okay, here's some financial incentive for me, but I
this is it, man.
I get what you want and I'm all in for it as well. And it's really great to see, because if there's one thing that the scene completely struggles with, it's venues, and they are just the make or break of it. So it's just nice and heartwarming to see success to success with it. And Foundry's got a brilliant home. And you mentioned as well about Underground, which was, it was the big event that led up to VSF. It was
Absolutely.
you know, it was a fantastic. It was a great day to obviously be there as well and see everything go on. You started to test out your multi streams too, so you had two different streams going on. Um, One thing that a lot of people do ask is, oh, would it be back next year as well? Have you got like any other plans for any other like monthlies or regionals that you would want to put in place, or anything else that you want to do at different larger scale stuff like that?
So we're keeping me and Crowley are keeping things a little close to the chest,
Of
obviously,
course.
while we try and work out the ifs and buts and
Hmm.
how well it works. But uh, as a little hint, all I'll say is I am a big, big, big fan of old school wrestling and
Mm.
the old school WWF idea of the big four pay-per-view. But
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. I'll
Okay.
leave it at that.
It's nice knowing there's things in place. And
Yeah.
I was going to kind of end on this note as well. It's the same question that I ask everybody, and I already kind of know your answers, which doesn't help, but I shall ask
Go
anyway.
on.
So I
Go
always
on.
ask, like, for people's games that are their pride and joy, and you've said you're more of you're more of the modern games, you're more of a Street Fighter kind of guy. You're lucky in that Alex is coming back. You've got your boy. Like, you know, is he?
Finally, thank you. How long have I been fucking blowing that trumpet for? You know what I mean? I was ready to die on that hill. Alex needed to come to Street Fighter 6.
You've been very consistent in that for as long as I've known you, you've just said, I want Marduk back in Tekken, I want
Yes.
Alex back in 6.
Yes.
Are there any other like characters for like ongoing games? You know, because I know that Strive is getting. Is it Strive 2.0 or whatever it's going to be called?
Yeah, 2.0's
Mm,
dropped, I believe. But honestly, like I said, Potemkin is my all-time favorite
mm,
fighting game character. There's just something about that character's moveset and everything. Even though, uh, hot take, I think they kneecap the crap out of him.
mm.
But I'm aware he was a little powerful. Okay, yeah,
And
he was top one at one point. He was top one at one point, but hell, how many times? Grapplers never get that privilege. Grapplers never get the top one privilege. So sue me for getting it once.
no,
But they absolutely broke his kneecaps on this one, as far as I'm concerned. They, I mean, yes, I've still got the armored Kara,
mm.
which is a war crime. I'm not going to defend it; it's a war crime. But they broke his legs in every other direction. You know what I mean? But um, honestly, I, I mean, Mortal Kombat, I got Conan the Barbarian, and he was so much fun to play.
Mm,
Like, I'm not even really an air juggle sort of character because old man timing, like, old man.
mm-hmm.
Unless it's an American reset, that's
Yeah.
the only way I'm carrying my combo. Um, so to learn aerial juggles was a chore. It was tricky,
Mm.
but again, because Conan the Barbarian is one of my all-time favorite books, like one of my favorite franchises. So just finally getting Arnold as Conan sort of thing, it was beautiful to see in Mortal Kombat. Even though the game itself was rough, I needed to play Conan.
Do you
But
think? Do you think that like something as I know obviously guest characters in Mortal Kombat have really gone one way ever since like the HD era. Was that something that you might have thought as a dream as a kid? You know, like when you're playing Mortal Kombat
oh
3.
god, yeah, I've been like, I mean, like, again, because like I said, I was God, I watched Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer when they more or less first came out because my dad was a big fan of it.
Mm,
So I was far too young to be watching Conan, but I was,
yeah, and
and then I'm playing Mortal Kombat alongside that sort of thing, and I'm thinking this is a fan, especially when we went to Mortal Kombat 2, and we went into Outworld.
yeah,
It's like this is perfect for a Conan, especially with the world sort of bleeding through. It's like this is perfect for a barbarian, even if it's not Conan. Just give me a barbarian with a sword and I'll sort of a thick Austrian accent. Let's do that. But it's it was yeah. So to finally see Conan in MK1, I wish he'd have turned up a game, well, two games or one game earlier, and turned up in either MKX or MK11, but we got him in MK1. It's better than nothing. We finally got Conan.
as like I've asked this question a few times before. As a I've got Mortal Kombat 9 on my PS3, and I
Mm-hmm.
think I've got 10. I've got X 10 XL, however you want to say it. It's like the
Yeah,
full edition,
XL. Yeah,
and I think I've got 11 as well on that. Again, it was on sale for a fiver, and your helpful
yeah. This
TO
is
here
hidden.
just like thinks, oh, I'll get you. You can almost justify it
Yeah.
because you say it's not for me. Like you just go, oh, it's
Oh
you
no,
just
they're totally for me. They're totally for me. If other people want to play them, that's cool, but they're totally for me.
yeah, yeah. I'm totally gonna get like I don't really play anime fighters, but it's like oh, Melty Blood's on sale. Like fuck yes, I'll have a bit of that.
See, anime fighters is my genre.
Mm,
Under Night's possibly one of my main go-tos at the moment. Under Night and Blaze Blue.
mm,
They're them are the two that I'm trying at the moment. Because like I said, Guilty Gear Strive at the moment just isn't scratching the itch for me, man. Just
mm,
the DLC characters, man. I want to take it back to core, and I know
mm.
that's an incredibly hot take, but I want to take it back to core. But it is what it is. It's not going to happen, and some people out there love it so, and a lot of people out there love it so. More power to them.
It's the
But
thing. It's
for
always
me, it's
sorry, but I was gonna
I
say
no,
it's a thing of like when you say about scratching the itch, and some people whenever they're going to a character crisis sort of thing, my sort of recommendation to say is don't think about swapping characters, just go to a different game for a bit. Like go to a
yeah,
different game for a bit
yeah,
and just
yeah.
muck around and see what you like. I mean, I I've been playing 2XKO recently, and
Is it good? Is it good?
I completely forgot that it doesn't have motion inputs. and I'm not a person who,
Oh no!
and
Of
I'm
course, it's Smash, isn't it? It's Smash input. So
exactly, yeah, and I,
oh,
and I went on with my leverless thinking like, all right, I'll play it like a regular game, and I thought, oh, okay, this I'm having to go back to the way I originally was. Like, okay, we're gonna have to do command inputs and stuff like that, like L, like L left trigger and B, for example, So
yeah,
I'll pick it up on a regular controller and see how it goes. But people have been raving about that game non-stop, like since the beta came out. So I I hope it does well. I'm not a League person. I've never
yeah,
touched the game in my life, but I've when there's positive buzz, I'll give fair credit. Like I'll give fair
yeah.
credit.
No, agreed. Nobody ever wants to see a fighting. Nobody ever wants to see like any sort of game really hit the dirt, but especially fighting games, man. Because when we finally lose a fighting game, it feels like everything's sort of like slipping away, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's like it's such a niche genre and a niche crowd anyway. When City of the Wolves missed its mark,
I know,
it,
man.
it's heartbreaking, man. Because again, SNK fanboy, and it's like I was championing that thing, going, "Oh, you wait, Street Fighter's in trouble when City of the Wolves
Mm,
lands," and it blew up for a couple of weeks and then just dropped off a cliff, and I'm like, how did you ruin Fatal Fury and Garou at the same time? It's like I know they're technically the same game, but
mm.
it's like this was meant to be SNK's big comeback, man. But like I said, I'm anime fighting myself, man. So at the moment, I'm good because that Guilty Gear isn't working for me. That's okay because, like I said, it's working for thousands and thousands of other people. So it's not working for me. That's cool. I thought, you know what? I'll try Blaze Blue, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a lot of fun trying to learn Bullet. But surprise, surprise, I picked another character that apparently is damn near bottom tier, apparently. But she's a lot of fun to play, and I quite like the style of her. And in Under Night, I'm playing Waldstein again, and
Mm.
he's loads of fun to play with.
Because
So
you've
yeah,
done pretty well when it comes to like because when I just take an objective look and I look at the Evo France lineup, for example, or I look at just UFA, anime fighters seem to be so prominent, and I don't think that they're not touching the Street Fighter and Tekken level of entrance, but they're getting consistent.
no,
They're the big two because Mortal Kombat is doing what Mortal Kombat is doing at the moment. Does
yeah.
amazingly
Mortal
well.
Kombat doesn't need to play along.
It does amazingly. It's outsold every other one. Like it doesn't have the competitive aspect to it, but it doesn't fucking need it. Um,
Yeah,
like I'll look at the entrance for like Melty Blood, Blaze Blue. Uh, I mean, it's an art
Scramble.
style. It's got like, is it like someone once said to me, it's basically anime Street Fighter. Does that hold Does that hold weight?
Which one? Sorry.
Grand Blue. He said it plays more like anime Street Fighter than a like typical anime fighter.
Um, yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it is, but again, it's got the Street Fighter modern controls.
Mm.
But you could choose to do the modern controls, but you're essentially on a cooldown timer if you use them.
Oh, okay.
Where if you do the actual command input, some moves will still be on a cooldown timer, but they'll be much much shorter.
Mm.
So it's quite a nice little idea of either I can get that fireball out or that DP out with a single button, but I'm then going to have to wait longer for it to cool down and me use it again. Or I could actually do the input and get it out and then fire it off again the next time I need it at a much quicker pace. But yeah, honestly, if you haven't tried Grand Blue, mate, I'd give it a buzz because it's these anime games sort of ebb and flow.
Mm.
They're interesting, man. They've got the loyal diehard that never leave, as you said, and they're always sitting there. Like even at versus fighting, the anime section was upstairs,
Yep.
and it was always packed.
Mhm.
It was always absolutely packed, and but they ended up showing a good few off in the cinema, the Arboretum, not the Arboretum, sorry, the actual big IMAX cinema, the auditorium, sorry.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I ended up watching Under Night in there. Um, for their top eight. And again, it was getting love. Like, yeah, it's never going to pull Street Fighter Tekken numbers, but it's doing its thing, and it's got the hardcore fan base there. But you also get the ebb and flow of passers-by that
Mm.
sort of spot the game, play it for a little bit, and go, you know what, this is loads of fun. and then they'll go back to Street Fighter or Tekken or something like that. But they always remember that, yeah, that's a good game.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to go back to that sort of thing. Or some stay in, and that's it. That's their life. But you do seem to have this constant, steady stream of passers-by into anime games, which kind of makes them undying in a way. It's quite nice,
Mm.
and it means you've always got new talent coming through. So yeah, it's again as an older head, it's quite nice actually having people come over and go, oh, you're playing, for instance, yeah, you're playing Under Night or you're playing this. Like, do you mind if I run a few sets with you? I've never played this game before,
Mm.
and then they go away going, that game's fun. I like that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And you know what, dude? This has been really great chatting with you. Like, I know that, like,
Yeah,
between the events that we run, we just don't get to talk. Like, we just don't,
yeah,
because you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
we're always so busy. But it's been lovely chatting with you. Have you got anything else that you want to shout out, or anybody you want to promote, or anything like that?
Honestly, man, it's one of them. It's like just shout out to the West Midlands FGC in general. Like that comes from the likes of yourself and like your lot that run the Wolfpack, to Mr. Crowley that helps me run the Foundry, to Ben at Royal Jester that runs the Light, to all the way through to the TOs that help. Like you got your Double Cross, your Spy, even Kel, my
Mm.
missus, she comes up and now she TOs for us. Big thank you to her. You got Geo. Um, and then of course you've got on your side, you've got Mold, you've got
Mm.
Kojax, and it's just, again, I just want to say a massive thank you to West, and then of course the players themselves.
Mm.
Just want to say a massive thank you to West Midlands fighting game community as a whole,
Mm.
because it's fucking awesome. Sorry, it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome, and it's Crowley describes it better than me when he names it the third place, and it's somewhere we can all go and just vibe. And like what you're doing what you and your lot are doing in Wolverhampton is absolutely fantastic. What Pudge and that lot's doing up in Leicester, like, even though I've never said that, every time I'm meant to go up there, something's come up. Like
Yeah.
I've just started a new job, and I was down in Watford on training when he's running Hyper Combo, and I'm like, I've missed it again. But even like just Pudge and his lot up in Leicester, like just the fact that they're keeping this fighting game community in the West Midlands alive. It's just it's awesome, man. And like a rising tide raises all ships,
Definitely.
and it's great, man.
I just hope that we can do it justice with the next tilt and tap. But you know what, dude? I'm
It's
looking
gonna
forward.
be fun. I'm coming down to that one. I'm
uh,
gonna actually be able to make that one. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. I might end up chucking my E Honda into a brick wall, but it's gonna be funny because my Honda's absolutely terrible.
Hey,
But hey,
I'll be looking forward to that. But like, it's been lovely chatting with you. I'll see you in a bit. All right.
yeah, yeah, you take care, my man.